communities.
Hi, and welcome to the Best of LA with Suzy. Best of LA, the Best of LA Live with Suzy Prudden on LA Talk Live, where we're more than just talk. And I have a wonderful, 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 wonderful guest for you today. She's a very, very, very dear friend. We've known each other for
over 15 years.
Over 15 years, yeah. Yeah, and a lot of life changes for both of us during
You
those
bet.
15 years. My guest is Lynda Malerstein. She's a hypnotherapist in West LA. And what do you call your company?
My company is Power Journeys Hypnosis.
Power Journeys Hypnosis.
Yes.
And what made you, or what caused you to become a hypnotherapist? Now, let's go back even further. What did you do before you became a hypnotherapist?
You got an hour and a half? I was a recruiter in the medical industry, lovingly called a headhunter. I worked in the entertainment industry in agencies for 8 years. I was a professional children's entertainer for 20 years.
You were a clown. No, I love it. I love it.
I was a clown. I was Mother Goose. I was Mrs. Claus.
Linda came over one day and she walks in. She just left a party, I think, and she's still in her clown outfit. I thought that was so wonderful. And then what caused you to then go into becoming a hypnotherapist?
Well, first of all, I wanted something more professional.
Right.
And I knew all of those things did not feel right. And I've had a lot of personal journey. I've had a lot of trauma to overcome in my own life. And the thing that helped me the most were processes where I went deep inside and did some releasing. And I was really actively looking for several years for what I called right livelihood. And I wanted something where I could help change people's lives, where I could be intimate with people and where I could use all my skills. And one day, a friend of mine,
Me.
Suzy Prudden, said, I've become a hypnotist. Let me give you a hypnosis session. So I said, okay. And while I was in hypnosis, it came up.
Yeah.
Wow, I could do this. This is what I want to do.
And I said to you also, you can do this. Because
Yes.
I knew that you had the ability and the passion. And it really takes passion, because because I'm a hypnotherapist, obviously, and it is an ability, it's a training, but it's also a passion,
Yes,
because you really are making a difference in people's lives.
yes. And 15 years now. It's been 15 years that I've been doing it. And I know for you it's a little bit longer.
Forever. When 1995, I was with Shelley Stockwell, and she was my teacher, my mentor, but then she was my hypnotist. She handed me a flyer, and she said, if you know anybody who wants to be a hypnotherapist, please give them this flyer. And I said, well, I do. And she said, well, that's good. You've been doing it for 20 years. Now you'll know what you're doing.
Yep.
Because I used to do guided imagery all the time. And so, yeah, and what's fun is that as we keep moving in deeper and deeper, we get better and better, and we hear more from our clients, things that they don't say, that we can hear and help them move through that whatever is going on for them. I'm glad you brought some questions for me. So what is you have it capitalized, ART system?
ART, it's an acronym.
Okay, what is the ART system, and how is it different from other hypnotherapy? Is that your special process?
It's my process that I've gotten from some very powerful, wonderful mentors that I just sort of put together with this particular name. The A stands for affirmation, which most people think of as hypnosis being positive suggestions, positive thoughts. But the second letter, the R, is release. And that's what creates the transformation. So for some people, affirmation doesn't go deep enough.
No.
And so if my clients are trying to accomplish something and they say an affirmation and their stomach clenches in a knot.
It's not working.
Right. So the way that I get to the release, and this is a hypnotic process. People think of hypnosis as lying passively and listening to someone talk. My people, when they are in hypnosis, are moving and talking and releasing, sometimes crying, sometimes raising their voice. And that's where the release comes from. Hypnosis actually means focused attention and the bypass of the analytical part of your mind. It does not necessarily mean relaxation. And so when my clients give me an affirmation, the affirmation comes from their own subconscious mind, their own need. It's not anything you can find out there.
Right.
It comes after I've interviewed them and we've done a little bit of processing on why they want it, how they feel about it, and the affirmation kind of builds itself.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I have them use that affirmation, I constantly have them go back into their bodies.
Check it out.
To see, right. And when then the release is complete, when they release whatever blocks and barriers, then the affirmation takes root and the transformation happens. And it's
beautiful.
It is very beautiful and very powerful. And the interesting thing is that people come to me for one thing.
Yeah, but there's a lot more usually.
Yeah, it ends up spilling over into other areas of their lives.
I have people who come to me. I work in 3-month segments. I'm now starting an elite program, which will be for 1 year. But at the end of 3 months, I say, well, now can we work on this? Now can we work on this? And so things keep coming up because we are like onions, and we layer after layer after layer after layer until you get to the heart, which we never get to. I mean, we do, but it's a constant. I mean, I'm 70 and I'm still taking workshops, and people go, "It's so brave of you to be 70 and taking workshops." And I'm thinking, what? Why would I stop?
Yeah, with this kind of work, there's always a new technique to learn. And the thing that's so wonderful about doing this work is everybody's story is different. Mm-hmm. And finding the key to unleashing their power is like putting the pieces of a jigsaw puzzle together or building a beautiful quilt.
Yeah.
Piece by piece, they come together. It's very satisfying.
And what I love about the work is helping people change their story. Because people wear their stories. A lot of people wear their stories very heavily. And if you can help them change their story so that rather than having their story bring them down, their story can uplift them. And that's how I process a lot of my clients.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know you've been through a lot of stuff.
Yes.
But you don't wear it like a heavy...
Well, that's because I've done the releasing.
Yeah. And so...
It's still there. I mean, it's still part of my life history.
Always there.
Yeah.
But you don't have to wear it as poor me. It's like, okay, our stories get us to where we are. Mm-hmm. And we can be in great shape or in lousy shape, depending on how we're wearing our stories. And you help people release the pain.
Yeah, and one of the ways that I do it is, let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are afraid to say anything negative. I think there's a difference between giving yourself a negative hypnotic suggestion, I'm not okay, I'll never do this.
Right.
That's going to create more problem. But if you acknowledge, I'm afraid, that's a feeling. Feelings are short-lived in this moment.
Right.
If you release them.
Yes.
And so the people that come to me sometimes have feelings that they've been carrying sometimes for 20, 30, 40, 50 years.
Yep.
And when they finally let them out, it creates this big space. One of the metaphors I use is, I see affirmation as being like a shiny red apple. It's nutritious and it's delicious. But if you try and put it in a bowl of fruit that's brown and rotten...
It'll get brown and rotten.
That's right. So let's clean out the bowl.
Yeah.
And then we put in
That's
the
very
apple.
good at it. That's good. I like that. I'm going to keep that.
You may.
I'll credit you.
You don't need to. You can have it as your own.
Can people be hypnotized if they have trouble relaxing?
Oh, thank you for asking that question. That I have so many people tell me, I don't think I can be hypnotized because I can't meditate, I can't relax.
Me too.
Because hypnosis means focused attention and the bypass of the analytical part of your mind. If you can notice where the pain is in your body, that's focused attention.
Mm-hmm.
So once my clients focus on that uncomfortable feeling, I have them release it. I've got pillows. I've got all kinds of where people can release the feelings into the pillow. I got little bats. So
that
they can hit with. And so it is not necessary to start with relaxation. What happens, and usually I don't use an induction. My clients are in that hypnotic state within 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, me too.
Because they focus on that feeling,
Yeah.
they start expressing it, and they go deeper and deeper and deeper into it. And the result afterward is then they relax. My clients call me the stress whisperer.
You got to put that on your website.
I do. I have to find a way to
You got to put that on your website. That's perfect. That is perfect. That's wonderful. That has to be on your business card.
The stress whisperer.
Yeah, in quotes, the stress whisperer. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Thank you.
That is wonderful. I've got to find something like that. That's good. So, what are some of the things that people can use the art system for?
Oh, gosh, lots of things. But since this topic was from resolution to reality, it's the time of year where people are making
Their resolutions.
And resolutions are not just, I'm going to lose weight and I'm going to stop smoking. Resolution could be, this is the year I'm going to overcome my fear of flying and get on a plane. I have a woman that came to me last year who was so terrified to fly she couldn't go to San Francisco. Mm-hmm. And we did a lot of emotional releasing, and she and her family took a trip to India. And
Whoa.
she was fine both ways.
That's a 30-hour trip.
Yeah.
More.
The thing about phobias is they're almost always a metaphor. Nobody who's ever come to me for fear of flying has been in a near crash. It something about the airplane, going into the airplane, reminds them of something else. And when they get to that feeling, and then they can release it. So it could be that. It could be, it's very effective for chronic pain. I absolutely know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that this emotional release work that I do helps people relieve chronic pain, because I myself had chronic lower back pain for over 20 years.
Wow.
And I'm 20 years older, and you think it would be worse, and it's not.
It's gone.
It's pretty much gone. It's come back a couple times. It came back when I had grief. It came back when my mother died. It came back when my cat died. But I processed through the grief, and the spasms went away. So it could be, this is the year that I'm going to overcome. I'm going to find the right practitioner to overcome the pain. It could be for audition anxiety or public speaking. A lot of people come to me, fear of public speaking.
Yeah, that's a big one for me too. And it's so funny because give me an audience, and I'm. It's like,
yeah, me too.
It's like my briar patch. So, just put a mic in front of me, and I'm a happy camper.
But you and I are in the minority, because
I know.
They say at a funeral, most people would rather be in the coffin than giving the eulogy.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a lot of people who say that I can't get on stage, and it's part of their business. And so, yeah.
And I also, people come to me with relationship fears, fear of approaching girls, shy young men. That could be something that they resolve that this year they're going to do, that I can help them with. I mean, the list is endless.
Yes, the list is endless. My favorite client right now is the entrepreneur, because so much is riding on whether they follow up and follow through,
Yes.
and whether they pick up the phone. And if they don't pick up the phone, they don't make any money. The money's in the phone. I carry a gold phone. I've had it. Here, I'll show you.
You do? Okay.
I'll show you. We're going to go have a dinner party after this, because we haven't seen each other in so long.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's my favorite client right now. I'm having fun with that. And what is your favorite client? What would you say is your favorite client?
It took me a long time to define. Most of my clients tend to be creative people who have some right brain. So right now I'm working with someone who designs video programs, but so he's got that. What do they call it? Geek. He's a geek.
Okay.
But he's an artist. So there's that combination. But most of the people who come to me have some deep emotional feelings about things. And I find that they are powerful people who've been wounded.
Yes.
So they're not afraid to look inside because the work that I do requires some introspection.
Well, you must make them feel very safe.
Yes, they say that.
I mean, you have to.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do that with somebody, they have to feel safe.
Even my office, if you would see my office, it's got blankets hung on the wall, so it's very, very womb-like.
That's what I thought was
Yeah,
womb-like.
people feel very safe there, and they feel safe with me. Thank goodness.
Well,
It's a great honor.
It is. And so, can people learn to do this themselves?
That's what's great about the ART system. It takes some practice, but once people have been working with me for a while, I give them homework assignments. For example, if I give them an affirmation, we've come up with an affirmation, and it feels good part of the time, and then there's an ouch. Their homework is to write that affirmation 10 times in the morning, but after each time of writing it, to stop and notice the body.
Notice the feeling.
Don't say it over and over like a mantra.
I'm in such agreement with you
Good.
on this.
And then if something comes up that feels, a little bit strong, I use tapping. I use what used to be called EFT, and now it's tapping. I teach them that. My clients can call me between sessions at no charge, and I'll just steer them in the right direction and have them do their work. But once they have learned how to do it with me, a lot of my clients continue to do this on their own. I'll give them little scripts.
It makes sense.
That they can follow. I feel blank at the thought of such and such. Where do you feel it in your body? Release it, either tap or do some fast walking, and get the words out. Because when you verbalize it, it gets released. Feelings are not, this is what people need to know. Your feelings are not trying to attack you. They are just trying to get out.
They're trying to give you a message.
Get out.
Yeah.
So noticing the message is good. Getting the feelings out is even better.
What I did with fear, when fear was really scaring me, because we give ourselves all the stuff that we have that goes on inside of us, I believe, we assign. So I assigned fear the assignment of frightening me. And fear was doing a very good job. So I thought, fear is scaring me too much. I've got to give fear a new job. So I wrote fear a letter. And I said, "Dear fear, you're doing a really good job. You are the best fear could be. You're so good at scaring me, I want to give you a promotion. I want to give you the job of empowering me. Is that okay with you?" Then I put the pen in my other hand and I wrote, "From fear to Suzy. Dear Suzy, that's a bit scary. Hee 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 hee." And then fear said, "That's up to the committee. You have to ask them." Okay? I wrote to the committee, "Dear committee, I want to give fear the job of empowering me. Is that okay with you?" I put the pen in my other hand, and I feel a whole shift in my body. It's like this grand dame appeared, head of the committee. "Dear Suzy, we have to discuss it. Go to the office, and we'll tell you tomorrow." So I went to the office. The next morning, I come back, and I write in my morning ritual stuff, I write, "Dear committee," right hand, "Dear committee, have you made your decision?" "Yes, we have. It's now okay for fear to have the job of empowering you." And my fear meter went from here to here, and my empowerment meter went from here to here.
That's brilliant.
I was blown away. I was totally blown away. So every once in a while, when fear shows up, I said, you have a new job. Thank you for having me notice what it is I need to know here, but your job is to empower me, not to frighten me anymore. So that's another process that just, just shifts the energy.
And obviously that works really well for you and your clients.
Yeah.
But some of the people who've had a lot of trauma in their backgrounds, that
wouldn't work.
The adrenaline has been stored from years and years and years of being in the freeze mode.
Yeah.
If someone has been assaulted by somewhere they couldn't fight back, whether it was a parent yelling at them or parents fighting or abuse or, all of the things that happen, and that adrenaline that is released by the autonomic nervous system for you to fight or flee,
right?
It's meant for your hands and feet to move.
Yeah.
So if your hands and feet don't move, the adrenaline...
It gets stuck.
Yes, it gets stuck in the autonomic nervous system. It gets stuck in the tissues. So I had someone recently who had taken a 100-mile-an-hour motorcycle ride, and every time, against his will, and every time he thought about it, his whole body would go into adrenaline. And so we cleared it in 2 hours in releasing it, going through each moment of it. And some of it was physical release. And that was scary. So that's a reasonable fear. That's a fear that comes from,
reasonable fear.
And so like I said, phobias, when people get an intense fear in the present and they can't get rid of it by doing what you're saying or talking to themselves and saying there's nothing to fear here.
That doesn't work. There's nothing to fear here. At least it
doesn't work for me.
It doesn't work for me either.
What works for me is to get the adrenaline out and then say, okay, what's really going on?
Yeah.
Am I in danger? Is there a threat?
Yeah, because the saying is fear is false evidence appearing real. When someone says, I'm afraid, I said, what exactly are you afraid of, and what are you picturing? Because a lot of people who come to me and probably do, they have a what if. Well, what if I do this? It could happen. Something bad could happen, and I don't know where that usually comes from. When their childhood, when their parents are trying to protect them, and so they give or not. This is true.
Yeah,
this is true. Lynda, how can people get in touch with you?
My website is www.powerjourneys.com, and that's JOURNEYS. My phone number is 310-228-3160, and I offer a free 20 to 30-minute telephone consultation. Good Freudian slip.
Yeah, I was going to say that was good.
And I do Skype sessions and I do Google Hangout sessions. So if anyone is listening to this not in the Los Angeles area, I've done them in other countries.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear from you.
That's great. Give the phone number once more, a little more slowly.
It is 310-228-3160.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What's your favorite type of client?
I love working with actors, writers, and directors.
Ooh.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
That is fun.
And I love working with young people between 17 and 22.
I have a 10-year-old right now that I'm working with that I am having so much fun with her. And it's so interesting to have, because I don't talk to her like a 10-year-old, I talk to her like an adult. And so when we first met, her parents drove down from Sacramento to have her work with me.
Wow.
Because I had worked with her father, and he felt the benefit, so he brought his daughter down. And I said, look, I got to meet her. We got to just talk. So we spent an hour just talking, and this was one, before any hypnosis, incredibly bright little girl. I had so much fun. So, yeah, kids are fun. Kids are fun.
And teenagers are fun, too.
I haven't had any teenagers. Not recently. Well, a long time ago.
I worked with a 16-year-old recently, and this girl was carrying grief that she did not know how to express and release. And when she expressed and released it in like 10 minutes. She cleared up chronic headaches.
Oh, fabulous. I'm going to send you my chronic pain people because that's not my expertise. So I'm going to send you my chronic pain people.
Good.
Because I was called, can you heal this? And I went, that I'm not good at. But now I know somebody who is. So that's perfect. And so.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anything else you want our audience to know?
Did I write anything else?
No, you didn't.
Oh, I know. Hypnosis is safe. It is not what you see in the movies.
Right.
It is not, I can't make you do anything you don't want to do. You can't get stuck.
You will open your eyes.
Absolutely. And sometimes my clients go in and out. I open, close, open, close.
Yeah, I've worked with open-eyed clients too.
It is completely safe, and it can be a very loving process because you let love in.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of my clients, when they hear me say it's time to come back to room awareness, they don't want to come back. I had one client, she was so cute. She was terrified. Her sister brought her to me. She said, "Can my sister stay?" I said, "Yes." So I did the process, and I brought her back, counted her back. And I said, when this is all truth for you, open your eyes, awake, aware, and fully present. She kept her eyes closed. I said, okay, we're going to do this again. I counted her back up. Open your eyes, awake, aware, and fully present. She wouldn't open her eyes. I said, Jody, if you don't open your eyes, I won't take you back there again.
That's the incentive, my dear.
I flew open.
You bet.
Flew open. Okay. We have 3 more minutes.
Oh, 3 minutes.
And so what else would you like to share with our audience?
I'm going to give you just a little story because we talked about chronic pain. I had a woman come to me with sciatic pain so severe that she was walking like a bent-over little old lady. She was in her late 30s. She'd been to chiropractors, acupuncturists, orthopedic surgeons, and they said, you're going to have to get the shot and probably an operation. She came to me, and in 5 or 6 sessions, we found some buried emotion that needed to be released. And after she released that buried emotion, not only was she able to walk, she has run 3 marathons since that time.
Beautiful.
And sciatic pain has not returned. I wish that everybody who is experiencing chronic pain would read the book by John Sarno. There are 2, Healing Back Pain and The Mind-Body Connection. Because if you don't bring the mind into health, you're missing a valuable component for healing.
Yeah. The body is a message receiving. The mind heals the body.
Yes.
And so, yeah.
And I guess I'd also like them to know I've overcome fibromyalgia. I've overcome IBS myself through the work that I've done, and it is my joy to help other people
Thank you.
do that too.
Yes. One more time, your website?
www.powerjourneys.com. And I do also have a fertility website. I'm not talking about that, but if you want to look at Fertility Los Angeles, you'll find me there. And my phone number is 310-228-3160.
Thank you.
It's such a delight to
It's
be
so
with you
good.
again.
It's so good. So
Thank you.
I want to thank you for being my guest on The Best of LA with Suzy Prudden on LA Talk Live. And I want to thank you for joining us. Look forward to talking with you and seeing you next week. I'm Suzy Prudden. This is The Best of LA with Suzy Prudden on LA Talk Live, where we're more than just talk. And so we keep talking.